Today I'm gonna talk about a new widget, which is the progress state button. We have seen that this is a very commonly used button that any app uses, right? So let's say we have a form, for example, and user or customer goes ahead and fills that form. When it clicks on the submit button, it basically goes to the backend. So the backend call is a asynchronous call, right? So that asynchronous call takes some time, and in that time, whether the request can be a failure or a success. So we need to show from the customer's UI point of view either the loading state or the failure state or the success state. So I'm gonna try and implement this because it seems like an easy implementation. So let's get started. I'm gonna import this 1.0.4 this dependency first. Yeah, let's see. Let's see if it comes up. Okay, it's 1.0.4. Okay, cool. Till the time we are getting this dependency, I'll be making use of the code example that they must have given. So I'll take up for this purpose only, I'll take a simple example. We can take this one. Okay, so this one we can go ahead and go to our widget, this center thing. We can have a child, so I can remove this child for now. So this is the column. Let's get rid of this. Okay, I don't need this. Sample call for now. Let's make it like this. Okay, and I think for this one we need to import it, this library, and this errors must be gone. Icon button, yeah, cool. And for the state, I'll create a variable known as button state underscore state is equal to button state dot idle. Correct. So I'll go over the states. So basically it's a very straightforward implementation. So you have the progress button. So progress button is basically this button, that we have here, this one button. Think of it like a placeholder for a button. Now it takes four different states. The first state is the ideal state where the person has not actually clicked on the submit button, right? So in our case it will be send. We can name it as submit. So when the person presses on the submit button, the state then goes and changes to the loading state because it has made a call. And the way we decide is what we do on press is decided by this. So the first state is ideal state, then we press the button, it goes to the loading state. Now this loading state basically is being taken care by this button. Now is this button is an asynchronous call, so then this asynchronous call maybe calls some backend API or anything it does. Once that is completed, we either get button.state fail or button.state.success. Now this states we can actually monitor using this state variable here. So remember I had created this state variable, right? So I can just link this state variable. So whatever the value of the state button variable will be, based on that we'll actually have one of these things. So let's say currently initially my state is idle, as I told you. Now once I click on press inside the method, I can change the state to loading. Now once the loading state is being going on, and once my thing is not completed, I won't change the state. As soon as I change the state to fail or success, this button comes up. I think right now if I do a refresh, we should see a button. Okay, this is the button here. So if I press on it, see, nothing will happen because the value of this variable stays the same, right? So what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna actually go ahead and create a new method. Let's say this method is basically like a sample http call. So this will be that. I think for that, because I will make an http call, let me import the http package. It's 0.13.4. So I'll go here, let's get the dependency. In the meantime, I'll start implementing the method. So I can have my method here. Let's say it will be a future call because it's gonna be asynchronous call. Oh yeah, future sample http call async. Right now in the async, I will set the state first. So I'll set the state first to I'll make it a loading state, that okay, the call is going on, let's wait till the call gets over. Now for the call, what I'll do is I'll basically have a URL. So that URL could be, let's say, I can have this URL itself, right? So I'll make a call to any URL, because any URL call will be an asynchronous call. So once I make that call, I have response await http dot get URI dot parse URL, and let me import this create getter for http. I think it should have been imported by now. Undefined name http, it is imported, right? Yeah, it should have been imported. So basically I am having an import error. I guess the way we can import this package is http dot dart, and then I need to do as. So we import it. I think my error should have been gone now. Cool. So once I get the response, so based on my response code, if response code um, response status code equals 200, then in that case I'll set the state. So that's a success, right? Because 200 is a success code. So my button state dot will change to success, else I'll set it to false dot fail. Cool. So I think all the errors are gone. Let me make sure my method name is correct. Okay, http call. Okay, so looks good. Let me restart it. Okay, so it did work. Let's click on the button. Okay, so you saw how it worked. Maybe I'll restart it again and show it to you again. So we have a send button. So currently the state is, as I said, idle, right? As soon as I click, so click will call this method. It will go in the method and it will set the state to loading. So you will see a loading state, and then it will hit the API. So as soon as we get a response from the API, if it's 200, it will set it to success state, else failure state. So we'll see loading state for some few seconds, and then we'll see either of these states, right? Let's see. I click on this, we see a loading state, and then we see a success state. Luckily it's not failing, so it works fine. Let's try to maybe make the URL wrong. So in this case the response should be something different. Let's see if I load it, and it failed, right? So in this case it failed because the URL was not valid or whatever error was there. You can actually print the error, but I just wanted to show you the states of how the progress button works. So this was a very simple tutorial around a very basic and very used widget in Flutter. Hope you guys like this video. If so, please follow me on Instagram, hit the like button and subscribe to my channel, and keep giving me support. Thanks everyone.